Welcome to Focus, Faith, and Fueling, the Winning Edge podcast, where young athletes, parents, and coaches learn how mindset, nutrition, and faith work together to elevate performance, resilience, and overall health.
What you eat and how you think can elevate and transform your game. If you're ready to gain a true mental edge, fuel your body with purpose, and stay grounded in what truly matters, then this podcast is for you.
We are your hosts. I'm Lindsay, former collegiate athlete, author, coach, and educational coach for over 20 years, and a mom to two young athletes.
And I'm Stacy, sports dietitian, author, speaker, and nutritional consultant for over 19 years, and a mom of two teen athletes.
Welcome to today's episode, where we have Britain Floyd. She is the kind of athlete who defines commitment before she ever steps on the field. A varsity captain and nationally recognized center back, Britain has built her reputation on leadership, resilience, and a relentless drive to grow. From earning 5A All-State honors to multiple all-region selections and defensive MVP awards, her impact is felt every time she competes on the soccer field. But what separates her even more is the sacrifice behind the success. Traveling hours, multiple directions to train at an ECNL level, chasing development when it wasn't easily accessible. The kind of dedication that she has tells you everything you need to know about who she is. Off the field, she brings the same intentionality to her future, with plans to study biology and pursue a career in neuroscience. Grounded in family, driven by purpose, and committed to excellence in every space she enters, Britain Floyd is just getting started. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
And let's get right into it. So, what do you think it is about yourself as an athlete that has separated you from others?
Honestly, I think it's just like my love of the game. Obviously, everyone has their ups and downs. But I haven't always been as consistent as I am now, but just kind of like preparing myself for those bad days, like breaking down film before games, working on myself physically. Mentality is a big thing for me also. Like I also strive for being like a leader and someone who like sets an example. So kind of working on that for myself because I am a captain. So that's another thing that like I've looked up to captains in the past and I just kind of want to be that figure for those people.
I love that you said that because we talk about what it means to look at athletes who are older than you, who can become your mentors, right? Who do you want to learn from? And a lot of times we talk about how not just someone older than you, but it needs to be someone who sets the bar high, right? Who elevates your game. So how has being a center back and the captain shaped how you lead?
Well, I will start with saying I haven't always played center back. I used to play midfield, so I used to be like all up in it. But center back has honestly, I prefer it because it forces me to see the whole field. My coach likes to call me the quarterback because I'm the one facilitating like our ball movement, seeing where the play is going, communicating everything to the team. So it honestly like helps me lead. It's brought me down a lot, like keeps me calm, keeps my composure, and it allows me to like learn not just in the game but in life how to communicate when you're solving your like problems.
So important. Communication is so important. You have really great ambition too for what you want your future to be outside of sports. And so that communication, that leadership is going to be something that can propel you within your career as well. So absolutely incredible answer. How do you mentally stay locked in the high pressure moments? Because you are a leader and you're setting the tone.
I mean, I feel like it's very important to just focus on the next thing because mistakes happen. Like it's a game. We're humans. Like things happen. So just like not dwelling on the past. And sometimes it does take having those hard conversations with teammates during the game or at halftime or getting yelled at by your coach because things just do happen. But it also comes down to like taking a breath, resetting yourself because at the end of the day, it's a game. And me personally, and I feel like for a lot of athletes, like you play better when you're having fun and when you're enjoying yourself and when you're not stressing yourself out more than everybody else is.
Absolutely. What does a hard conversation look like as a captain on a team?
Well, me personally, I've talked about the growth that I've had as a leader, and that comes a lot of through just have a yelling problem where I'd be like, this is not how this is supposed to happen. Like, we need to fix this, get down to it. But just kind of learning how other people respond. So people on my team know they can yell at me because that's just like my mom was a college athlete. She yells at me. That's how I was coached growing up. And just so adapting and knowing what teammates you can really get on and who really needs that encouragement because they're more scared of what they're doing than how you're going to respond to them. So, I mean, I've been yelled at halftime. I've taken accountability for mistakes that other people may not have thought as mine. And it just depends on who I'm with and what the moment calls for. Because if we're down by 3 and everyone's in their heads, it's probably not the best moment to really ridicule and get on everybody.
I want to applaud you for that because, a lot of grown adults do not know how to communicate with people and to recognize that different people are receptive to certain types of conversation and responses. And so, you navigating that as a high school athlete and learning how to talk to your teammates based on who they are as individuals is so important. And it's very impressive, honestly. That's a really amazing quality to have. Um, Athlete in high school. So that is wonderful. I love that you said your mom coached you kind of hard because she was a college athlete. You have both parents as college athletes, and your dad played football and he is a high school coach. So I feel like you have constantly had coaches, not just parents and supporters, but you've had coaches who have kind of prepared you to be at the spot you're in right now and to know how to respond to certain situations and to lead. Would you say that that's like a good part of why you are successful as a leader on the team and as a captain?
100%. My dad actually, so he works at my school, but he's my coach in the weight room. As I've grown up, he's kind of taken a backseat in the soccer aspect, but he definitely does get on me as far as like my physical strength, how prepared I am for games, fitness wise, and like physicality wise. Whereas my mom kind of takes the soccer aspect of it because we both play the same position. So that's kind of definitely the why I am who I am and why I hold myself to such a high standard, I feel like. Because I mean, at the root of everything, I just want to make my parents proud of who I am as a player, but also as a person and how I carry myself on the field, which I feel like is a big part of how athletes are in general.
I would agree with that. And I know your parents are incredibly proud of you. One of the things that stood out to me was, when I had talked to your mom before, was you played for ECNL and you were traveling 3 hours one way to get to practice. And that takes a very different level of commitment, not just for you, but for your family as well. But what kept you motivated to make that commitment on the nights that you're exhausted and you have a project due and you have homework you're doing? Like, what kept you motivated to stay with that?
Well, I knew what I wanted. My end goal was to be able to play college soccer, continue on with my dream. Like, I was not about to give that up. I could never, like, I'm still at the point where I'm like, I cannot imagine myself stopping playing soccer. So I was really just motivated by, I know if I don't work hard enough, it's going to end in a year. And I'm just not ready for that to happen. But like you mentioned, my parents, my mom especially, like so many sacrifices. She drove me up to Greenville every Wednesday, stayed for my practices, and then games. I think she missed one game all year. We were traveling to Greenville for games. Those were our home games, but then to like Atlanta, we went to Phoenix for a showcase, Florida like 3 weekends in a row. Like I just want to applaud her for that because she's definitely like, even when I was like, I hate this, this is not what I want to do anymore. She was like, no, you're here for a reason. Like you're doing this for you. You're doing this for what you deserve. You need to keep with this. So I
Mm.
definitely owe a lot of that to her for keeping me motivated.
I think that appreciating and being thankful, having that gratitude for what you do is one of the biggest ways that you can develop resilience and maintain that passion for what you do, which is play soccer, right? And so you having that appreciation and gratitude for family sacrifices, for just being able to play the game, I think that speaks volumes to who you are as a person. How do you balance, because you do play such a high level of soccer, how do you balance your soccer and school and a personal life? Like, how does that all mesh together for you?
Very honestly, my school has kind of taken a back seat. With that being said, I still find myself maintaining a 4.8 GPA and taking 3 AP classes and the rest being honors. So I'm not discrediting myself, but I will say that I kind of prioritize soccer over school. However, like on the long drives, I do my homework. After practice, I do my homework. And like I woke up early this morning, like an hour before I had to, because I had my US history EOC. So it's kind of finding the time and realizing that like you have to if you wanna do other things, you have to make some sacrifices. And then as far
Mhm.
as having a personal life, like, me and all my friends play sports. So, like, we hang out, I go to their games, I show support, they come to my games, we go to grab a bite out to eat afterwards, and it's just kind of finding time in what you enjoy doing, and that's playing sports. So, like, me and my friends will go up to the field and play soccer together, and we'll get our work in, do our practice, but also we're all hanging out. So it's kind of just, like, incorporating all parts of my life into one is a way I find to stay to balance.
I would say that's a pretty effective way to do that. Yeah. Let's go back to something you mentioned earlier about how, your teammates and you are very self-reflective, clearly. So when you make mistakes, you own them, right? You help people move on. You said that you have to make a mistake and get over it kind of quickly. For a lot of athletes, that's a struggle, especially for younger athletes. What does that look like for you to make a mistake in a game and reset mentally? How do you get yourself quickly out of that headspace?
Well, I will say it's taken a lot of practice. As a center back, it's kind of you have a lot of pressure because you're protecting your goalie. Like you were the last person in front of your goalie to stop that ball from going in the net. So there are a lot of consequences from you making a mistake. And especially this past fall, I kind of struggled with it a little more, playing at that even higher level than I have been in the past. But just kind of like taking a breath, realizing that, like I said earlier, it's just a game and mistakes happen. Like you're human. And then just going on to the next best thing, like, you have other opportunities. You're not defined by just, like, knowing that you're not defined by one thing, and that honestly, that mindset comes from a lot of, like, prep before the game, kind of like, I listen to a lot of motivational speaker like, audiobooks. I listen to them when I sleep because I just have to have something going on in the background,
Mhm.
and then I just think with both my parents being college athletes and both my parents being coaches at some point in their lives, it's just kind of something that you know and something that you get taught. And even though they're hard on you, you know that they want you to move on from the mistakes. So then just having that mindset going into my games, I just kind of I take a breath. Sometimes I say a little prayer. I'm like I have a Bible verse written on my wrist. It's Psalm 16:8. When God's at my right hand, I cannot be moved. And that kind of keeps me grounded because I'm like, I have the Lord by my side. Like nothing is like if it's gonna happen to me, it's for a reason. And at the end of the day, like it is what it is because it is a game. And even though I do care a lot, it's like you have to move on to the next moment in your life because you're moving forward, not back.
Yeah. I think that you touched on something really important there is that at the end of the day, it is just a game. It doesn't define you. You are an incredible soccer player and athlete, but you are so much more than just being a soccer player. And I didn't even have this as like something I wanted to talk to you about, but it sounds to me like you're very grounded in your faith as well. Do you think that your faith has gotten you through like setbacks and struggles with your sport?
Yeah, I think just kind of like my family as a whole isn't very religious, but I've had some friends, like I used to go to church with my one friend, her dad was the pastor. So kind of just like reflecting on that
Hmm.
and kind of finding my own path with that has been helpful because it's a way to stay grounded. It's a way to like keep my nerves down, I guess, because it's something that I know is true and is like easy to do. So I would say yeah.
That's great. I love that. Let's talk about your experience because not every kid does what you have done in the recruiting process. So I'm just going to give you a huge shout out right here because there are so many high school athletes that will say, "Well, I don't want to take time to contact a coach," or they're like sitting and waiting for coaches to come to them. You, on the other hand, went to all the coaches. You sent out the emails, you did the work. Like you made that effort how it should be done, right? You could teach a course, a whole clinic on how to be recruited to a college. Can you kind of give some advice on what you did or talk about what you did and advice for athletes in that recruiting process as well?
I started going to camps early. Like my sophomore year, I went to like a lot of group camps. There were like 15, 30 coaches there. And those were just kind of like feelers so I could like see what the coaches were like, see what I was interested in, see what level I could maybe play at because you're also comparing yourself to all the other girls at these camps, but also just kind of getting myself comfortable in those environments because as a junior, I've gone to camps with some of my friends who've never been to a camp before and I'm the one that's like introducing them to coaches because I'm comfortable in that space now. So I kind of think it's important if you're not as well spoken as because you do have to be like to play college soccer, these coaches aren't going to come find you or to play college sports in general. You have to put yourself out there. You have to do something that's gonna make them remember you at a clinic where there's like 50, 100 different girls who are all good and all deserve a chance to play at the next level.
Yeah.
So, like, sending emails, like, before camps, go look at the list of coaches, send an email to every single one, be like, "Hey, I'm Britain Floyd. I'm a 2027 center back. I'm gonna be wearing my hot pink fort shirt at the camp. Can't wait to see you." And then after I get a picture with them at the camp, talk to them, be like, "Hey, I sent you an email before camp. My name is Britain Floyd." And then after camp, I would always get a picture with them too. And then after the camp, I would email them with the attached picture in the email to be like, "This is my face. Here's my Instagram. Go follow me. Like, here's some highlights."
Yeah.
Because coaches can't recruit you off of one time seeing you play. I went to the UNC Asheville camp and they were like, "We really like it. We just have to watch you more." And I wasn't personally at the space and time where I was comfortable with like waiting to like for the off chance that they were gonna, after more watching, they were gonna be like, "Yeah, we like you."
Yeah.
So they have to see you, they have to be exposed to you in more than one environment. But honestly, it took a lot of work. My parents paid for NCSA,
Mm-hmm.
which is a recruiting service that I use to really boost my recruiting. I had a recruiting coach. Her name is Britta. She's super sweet. Would like do outreach to coach for me sometimes. But I would sit down every time I'd get a new highlight, mail as many coaches that I could think of. Any school that I would be remotely interested in, D1, D2, D3, I was sending them my email. I was sending them my highlight, trying to get them on my radar. Because you never know that if you, let's say you're D1 or bust, which I was not, that D3 coach could fall in love with you and then get a head coaching job at a D1 school the
Right.
next year. And then they have you in their mind and they're like, "Oh yeah, Britain Floyd, let me get her at my team because she is so good." So it's just kind of learning networking, which is also important as you go into the professional world. It was a lot of work. My parents also, I think, helped because them having experience in college athletics, they
Yeah.
weren't like as surprised by the amount of work that you have to put into it.
Absolutely. I like that you said too that you didn't want to limit yourself to a D1 or a D2 or a D3 category, right? And there are so many options now for athletes, even junior college, and then you have the transfer portal. So you might start somewhere and that doesn't necessarily mean it's where you're going to end. But I actually had a college basketball coach on, a D1 college basketball coach. Her podcast will go live in a week or two. And she was talking about how, like you're saying, a coach will go somewhere and you might take the players with you. So it's good to look at more than just what you initially think you want, to be open
Mhm.
to other avenues as well. How do you evaluate like the fit for a school and a team?
I think it's important to just know what you want. For me personally, I played with the same group of girls since I was about 5 years old. So we're a big family. Like I love them. I hang out with them on the weekends when I'm free. So that's something I was looking for, like a family, like girls that I can play with, and then I can have them in my wedding. They can be my bridesmaids. Like I just want that community, which is something that I found very thankful for. But there were also some schools that I didn't find that at. And
Hmm.
then another thing is like competitive, because let's just say hypothetically, UNC was like, "Yeah, we want you to come and play, but we want you to be a practice player." Personally, I wouldn't be okay with that because sure, I get the label of playing at UNC, but I am going to play college soccer because I want to play soccer. I don't want to sit on the bench. I want to work for it, but I want to be able to see the field
Hmm.
because I'm not comfortable with just being that practice player. I want to get that exposure that could maybe take me to the next level.
Yeah. And so how did that work for you when you were looking? You have committed to a college. So when you went to that college, was it like, "Oh my gosh, this is the perfect fit," or like how did you know that that was the right spot?
So with Catawba, I went to their camp, and that was the first time the coach had seen me play. He was really funny. He reminded me a lot of my club coach and high school coach. He was just very much like instantly like up in your face talking to you, being funny, like making jokes, lightening the mood. And the girls seemed to really like him, which is important because you never want to go to a school where the girls are like, "This guy sucks. Like he's terrible. He's so mean. He yells at us."
Yeah.
So and like I said, the family vibe was something important, and that's something that I picked up on immediately. Like, they were all joking, braiding each other's hair, like, and it was just a really fun environment. And then when I went back on my visit, I went when they had their spring game against Winthrop, and it was the same thing. Like, I got to be in, like I talked to you about earlier, I went to lunch with, like, 20 of them, and it was like I was with my own friends. Like, it was so fun. We were just talking about, like, where I grew up. Like, I'm from Charleston, so everyone wants to come to Charleston. Like, Like,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my god, you live in Charleston?" I'm like, "Yes, like, come visit." And it was just, like, so fun. And then they had their spring game that day, so I went in the locker room with them, and it was just, like, disco ball, disco lights, music, vibes for, like, an hour and a half, and it was just, like, the best thing ever
Yeah.
because they not only included me, which is, like, their job on a visit, but they made me feel like I was part of the team. Like, I got to wear a practice jersey. They taped my wrist. Like, I was in it. I was about to go on the field and ball out with them, and it was just kind of like I was sitting there and I was like, "Yeah, these girls are my friends." And then I went home, and after I committed, they all started following me on Instagram, texting me how excited they were to have me on the team. Like, I haven't felt like since I've committed, I felt so welcome, and it's just, like, exactly what I thought it was gonna be, that, like, it's a big family, and I'm so excited.
I'm so happy for you. I think that, knowing that you're in the right place is, I think, it's the best feeling. It's most important to feel welcome, received, and to have that dynamic where you already can tell that, like, you're joining a family, not just a team. So I'm very happy for you. I can't wait to see what you do playing for Catawbas. What were your parents thinking when you went to Catawba? I mean, it is another SAC school. So you're still in the SAC. And what were your parents thinking, given that, they both were at Wingate, which we played Cantaba. That was a team we played against.
Well, my mom obviously, like, had nothing but respect for the program. She was like, "It's always good when we played against them."
Yeah.
She was like, "The campus is beautiful." She would go to the football stadium with my dad whenever he was playing. She's like, "I
Hmm.
love their stadium." And then my dad was actually the one who took me to the camp, and he, like, was the first one to say something. He was like, "This team culture is exactly what I want for you." Like, he was so happy with it. And then once they showed interest in me, he was like, "I'm so happy for you because I think you would do great things here." So they love the fact that I'm in the SAC because I get to play it. They're like, "We get to go back to Wingate and watch you beat
Yeah,
them."
absolutely.
So it's just kind of I I feel like I get to stay in the family kind of a little bit, and
Yeah.
then it's also I mean, I know they're so excited for me.
Excited for you. I can't wait to see how you do playing in college. Like, I think big things are going to happen for you. Did you consider, so you have like big goals. It's so amazing. Biology and neuroscience. So where did that passion come from? Like, what got you into wanting to go into neuroscience?
It's kind of a long story, but, um, I always wanted to go into the medical field. My aunt is a NICU nurse at MUSC, and I used to wanna be an athletic trainer just because I didn't really understand what my aunt did, but I loved sports and I wanted to be a doctor, so I was like, "I can do both, yes." And then in 7th grade, I was in this biomedical class at my middle school, and we dissected a brain, like a lamb brain,
Yeah.
and we were, like, doing stuff leading up to it, learning about brains, and we know more about our oceans than we do our own brains, but we haven't even discovered majority of our ocean. I'm just like, "How do I not understand what's in my own head?"
Hmm.
So a lot of it is curiosity. So I don't know if I wanna go into, like, the research side of neuroscience or if I wanna be a neurosurgeon because I think it's also really cool how, like, not necessarily brittle, but how sensitive your brain is, and just, like, really when you look at it and understanding how memories work is the most interesting thing to me. I don't know. I'm just, like, very curious about what that whole field has to offer, and I can do that while staying in the medical field and helping people.
That's outstanding. I can't now. I'm like, I got to see what you do in your career, all these things. But I know that you have such a powerful mindset when it comes to sports and when it comes to your academics. And how do you think that mindset compares to talent?
My middle school coach actually had a quote that kind of stuck with me through the years. It's actually my yearbook quote for my soccer page. It's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And
Hmm.
I feel like that's just like you can be as good as you want, but if you're not gonna put the work in, if you're not gonna have the mindset that like I can always be better, I'm instead of thinking like I'm the best one out here, thinking what can I do to help these girls? What can I do to serve this team? If you have instead have the mindset like I'm the big dog, like, this is me, this is my team because I'm the best one out here, then you're not gonna be successful because you're gonna be selfish in what you do, and that's just ultimately not the best way to go about it. So I think, like, is talent important? Yes, but if you have the right mindset, you can achieve the talent that people with the right whereas if you have talent and not the right mindset, you're not gonna get as far.
Such a great answer. Such a great answer. But let's talk about your goals for the future then. What are your goals on and off the field? Like, we kind of talked about, we do kind of know your goals off the field going into neuroscience, but what are your goals on the field for college and after?
This is gonna be a little ambitious of me, but as far as, like, on the field, I want to come in my freshman year, really prove myself, see if I can start at least like midway through the season, kind of put myself in that framework as a center back, which I think is what my coach wants for me. He seems very much like wants to put me in the system, but I mean, we'll see how the cookie crumbles. And then as of right now, I could literally like I can't imagine myself ever being done with soccer. Like it's what I do. Like I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know who I am outside of soccer, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but just because it has brought me like so many people and so many opportunities in my life. So I'm like, if I can after college soccer, if I have the opportunity to play like semi-pro, pro, I would like instantly. Catawba had a girl, I believe her name's Alexa. She's playing in Switzerland right now, which I think like as of right now, at the point I'm at in my life, I'm like, yeah, I would go to Europe to play soccer. Like sign me up.
Sure.
But we'll see if that changes in the next 4 years. But as of right now, the goal is just to play soccer as long as possible, potentially get paid for it, and then I don't know, maybe I'll be a coach like my mom. We'll see.
What kind of, well, I was going to say, what kind of teammate do you want to be in college? But I already know you're going to be a teammate that motivates and leads and inspires others to do better as individuals and as a team. What do you want your teammates to remember about you when you leave high school and you go to college? What do you want your team right now to remember about you?
I hope they just know that I want the best for them because as much as I do get on them in the game, like when we're playing soccer, I'm on them about like what they're doing. I'm on them because I want the best for them. So I hope they understand that I'm their biggest cheerleader. Like I just know when it's right to have the hard conversations, but I really do want to see them succeed, whether it's in soccer, in life, because at some point the game comes to an end and like our seniors that went to college this year, there was a poll on senior night. It was like, who made you laugh the most and who was the most inspiring and influential person. And I actually cried a little bit because one of my best friends and then one of the other seniors said that I was their most influential like teammate because I was always the one pushing them and like driving them to be better. And that just meant a lot to me because that's what I'm trying to be as a person. And not only to my friends, but just like to anyone around me. Like I want the best for you because you deserve that for yourself. And that's just something that I feel like I want to be known about me.
I'm sure that is exactly what everyone will end their playing career with you, knowing about you and thinking about you. It's obvious that you're a light on the team and you are an inspiration to those around you. What is a mistake that you think athletes are making right now, like younger athletes in high school and even through junior year? What's a mistake that you think athletes are making that holds them back?
This is like I feel like a very common answer, but and even I do it myself, but your nutrition because ultimately especially as teenage girls, how you feel your body is like your it leads to your mood. It's everything about you. And then for boys, it's like how you're growing. Like my brother right now is 2 years younger than me, but he's like 6'2" and he's actually like giant. But that's because he's eating right, doing his protein, getting his nutrition in. And I just feel like for young women, it's so hard being like, well, I don't want to be like big and bulky. Like I've had so many of my friends tell me that when they're like, I don't want to take weights, I don't want to be big and bulky. And I'm like, no, but you need to be healthy.
Yeah.
And I've had teammates struggle with like eating disorders and things, and I've had to like get them help and be like, no, you do need to eat food because you're an athlete and you're going to be burning so many calories later that you need to fuel your body. So I think
Absolutely.
that's a mistake that a lot of young women athletes make. And then just kind of as you're going to the recruiting process, kind of what I said earlier, like college coaches aren't going to find you. Like it takes a lot of work from
Yeah.
you, from your coaches, from like your family to get you seen in the college. If you're actually going to go to a place that's your home, it's going to take a lot of work. And I feel like that's kind of like I feel like a lot of people know that, but they don't act on it to get them to the place they want to be at.
So, advice for younger athletes who want to go play in college, focus on nutrition or make sure that's a area of focus and a priority, right? Seek out college coaches, be ambitious, like the ball's in your court, go after it and don't be afraid of networking and using communication. Communicate with the people that you're trying to connect with and network. Networking, you said that earlier, and I was like, that is such a great skill for high school athletes to begin developing and getting comfortable with, for sure. I want to close with a couple things. So, one, what is your favorite pregame routine?
If we have for high school, if we have a home game after school, I go to Tropical Smoothie with my friends and get a Santa Fe chicken quesadilla and a Bahama Mama smoothie, and then I leave immediately. I don't eat there. I take it back to the field. While JV's warming up, sit on the field barefoot and eat my quesadilla and drink my smoothie. And then my other captain, Layla, braids my hair. I do double Dutch braids every game. I have since I was like 4. My mom used to do them for me. And then I put my headphones on. I listen to reggae and worship music, and then if I don't put my wrist tape on, I don't play as good because it also helps me remember which is my left and right directional because I always put it on my left wrist. But yeah, I would say listening to music, getting myself in the zone, laughing with my teammates, enjoying myself. But I definitely have to look the same every game. I always have my pink pre-wrap on.
Gotcha. Pink pre-wrap. What is one word that you would use to describe your mindset?
Like, I would say growth. I don't know if that really makes sense, but just
Yes,
kind
it
of
does.
like moving forward and as a person and through the game and just like always knowing that you can get better.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of indicators, right, as to what is going to make a young adult successful in life. But that word right there that you use to describe your mindset is all the indication needed to show that you are going to be successful in life because you will always be looking at ways of how you can grow and improve as a person, as an athlete, as a student. And so you are going to have a lot of success ahead of you. That is for sure. So, I'm so glad that you took some time tonight out of your crazy schedule that you have to join us on this podcast. And we are going to keep up with you and check in and see how everything's going for you in the next 4 years. And where can people follow you at? Like where can our high school athletes and college athletes follow you?
I'm only on Instagram, but Britain Floyd '09 is my Instagram, so go follow.
All right. We will. Thank you so much for taking time.
Of course, it was great.
Stay tuned for more real world tips and conversations with coaches, athletic directors, current and former collegiate and professional athletes, sports dietitians, sports psychologists, and other performance experts. If this episode gave you something to chew on, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe. Nutrition is important, but let's be honest, we've all got to eat. So help us feed this podcast so we can keep fueling you. Don't forget to join the Span Athletics community to get more exclusive content by following us on all of our social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X at span_athletics. Until next time, stay faithful, stay fueled, and remain focused on your goals.